Hey everyone, I'm Majin Bey and welcome in to World Tour Weekly, your one-stop shop for all competitive Flesh and Blood news. Today we talk about the ProQuest meta shifting, more heroes getting close to Living Legend, and we start off High Seas spoiler season with a bang right here on World Tour Weekly. First things first, let's talk about what's going on with Flesh and Blood events as a whole right now. We've had a pretty active couple of weeks with ProQuest Singapore, multiple top tier heroes hitting Living Legend, and Battle-Hardened Minneapolis, but it looks like things are going to start to heat up even more. As I kind of mentioned before, High Seas spoiler season starts this week, with many of your favorite Flesh and Blood content creators, and also me, showcasing some cards that you can expect in the upcoming set. Later this week, we have Battle-Hardened Tokyo, Milan, and Hartford to keep an eye on. Then, the week after is the world premiere for High Seas in Taipei. The weekend after that is High Seas pre-release, as well as the Gravy Bones Armory deck release date. By the way, make sure to sign up for your local pre-release when you can. I'm hearing nothing but positive buzz for the set, so I expect these events to be pretty popular. Then another weekend after that is the US National Championship in Las Vegas. Just in case that wasn't exciting enough for you, we also have quite a few heroes getting closer and closer to Living Legend, with quite a few LL points still up for grabs this season. With around 90 ProQuests left to go and 3 Battle Hardens this weekend, we might not have seen the last Living Legend of the season. Speaking of ProQuest, let's see how things have changed in Aurora's absence in this week's Metagame Minute. With this weekend's events in the books, Florian seems to have picked up the torch from Aurora and kept Elemental Runeblade as the #1 deck of the week. He secured a total of 25 wins this last weekend, which, while high, wasn't honestly quite as high as I was expecting. New right behind him reminds us that Miss Vale isn't quite gone yet, as she creeps up in metashare with a very solid 15 wins. Last week she only had around a third as many wins as Florian, but this week she shot up to over half as many. This is all more or less expected though, as it would be just taking the second and third top decks from last week and moving them up to fill the space Aurora left. After that though is when things start to shift quite a bit. I'll admit that while I was expecting some change up post Aurora, I wasn't expecting quite this much and not quite this soon. A lot of the changes really surprised me. For example, Azalea had a very strong 11 wins over the weekend, meaning she won only a little under half as many as Florian did. That's something we really are going to need to keep an eye on, as she's at 919 Living Legend points as of today, with 1 more week of ProQuest and 3 Battle Hardens left this season. If she has another really good ProQuest week and then spikes 1 or 2 of the Battle Hardens, we could absolutely see her leave the Classic Constructed format before Nationals kick off. Speaking of heroes close to Living Legend, Dash Inventor Extraordinaire got 6 entire wins this weekend. She's just over 30 points away from hitting Living Legend. If she grabs a couple more ProQuest wins and then takes down any of the 3 Battle Hardens this weekend, she'll be gone. New is also getting a little too close for comfort with exactly 900 LL points. If she puts up another strong ProQuest finish and then has a breakout weekend for the Battle Hardens, she could be gone as well. That's 3 more heroes that could be hitting Living Legend as soon as this next week. Not that I really expect them all to hit it at that time though. If I had to guess, I would say that none of them are probably super likely to cross the finish line just yet, but it looks like it's going to be a photo finish. Moving back to our nice little graphic, Kano and his worst enemy Prism are tied for 4th place with 8 wins apiece. If only he had a card that could help in the matchup. Oh well. Looking towards this coming weekend, I'm going to keep a super close eye on Azalea, Dash Inventor Extraordinaire, and Nude to see if any of them can rack up the points needed to hit Living Legend. If you're following the Battle Hardens this weekend, which you should, and you see that any of them grab a win, alarm bells should start going off in your head, because that could be the final push they need to get over the line. Alright, now that we've got a handle on the meta, let's take a look at our card of the week. The only events we had over the past weekend were ProQuest, so I wasn't able to pick a card that had like a deep run in a Battle Hardened or made top 8 of a calling. This means that I get to pick pretty much any card that I want. So today's card of the week is going to be Intimate Inducement. You thought I was going to pick a wizard card. As competitors, it can be really easy to get swept up in the meta and stock deck lists. Unfortunately, this can sometimes lead to a lot of people, including me, getting cemented in their ways on how you're supposed to build a hero or how you're supposed to play a deck. So today I wanted to highlight something that I played against firsthand that was a little bit different. Over the last couple of weeks, a local of mine, you know who you are, started bringing 6 copies of Intimate Inducement in their new deck to our ProQuests. I watched round after round of people getting absolutely blown out by the itty little bitty +1 attack reaction. It would constantly force through cards like Surgical Extraction, Leave No Witness, turn on Bonds of Agony, and that's only the first half of the card. The second half was constantly even more impressive, stealing key pieces of their opponent's deck and forcing them to block with it. Have you ever blocked with a Rampant Growth? I have. It's not really what you want to be doing with that card. Seeing cards like Intimate Inducement become a centerpiece in a lot of these strategies around certain matchups was really kind of inspiring to me. I love seeing people come up with new and unique strategies, especially to things that are already so well explored. It makes me want to dig through a bunch of my boxes for old cards to see if I can stumble over the next Wounded Bull. Alright, now let's talk about the elephant in the room. High Seas is just around the corner and spoiler season starts this week. I have a little something special to show you all, but first, let's take a look at what we've all seen so far. High Seas is going to be bringing us 3 really exciting heroes and 2 brand new classes. The set is focused on pirates, that being the first of the 2 new classes. And all of the heroes are dual classed, pirate and something else. First, we have Puffin Hightail, a pirate mechanologist who, from the cards we've seen so far, seems to have an interest in generating cogs and then tapping them for additional value. She also has possibly my favorite card revealed yet this set, Polycranka, an offhand ally companion. Next up is Marlin Treasure Hunter, a pirate ranger who can use gold to generate her own harpoon arrows. She also has some harpoons spoiled that have some of the nastiest on-hits I have ever seen, provided that she's activated a cannon that turn. Last, but certainly not least, is Flesh and Blood's first ever Necromancer, Gravy Bones Shipwrecked Looter. Gravy Bones introduces a new mechanic, Watery Grave, that turns cards with the keyword face down if they enter the graveyard from the arena. This is relevant because Gravy Bones allows you to play a card with Watery Grave from your graveyard, provided that a blue card has also entered your graveyard this turn. So far, all the cards with Watery Grave are allies, meaning that he raises the dead from the graveyard to fight for him. You know, like a Necromancer. He, like the others, is also dual class as a pirate, giving him access to one of the more spicy cards we've seen this spoiler season, Conqueror of the High Seas. If you thought casting Command and Conquer was fun, wait till it has Go Again and makes you gold. Also spoiled is Treasure Island, a High Seas macro landmark that looks like it's going to significantly shake up how we play Limited. Now, I've teased a couple times that I have a spoiler to show you this episode. I was only shown it a couple of hours ago, and I've just been buzzing to talk about it ever since. So without any further ado, World Tour Weekly's first ever spoiler card, Burn Bear. Isn't it beautiful? Let's go over it real quick. First thing to notice, this card cannot be pitched. That's pretty important, but I feel like its power more than makes up for it. Costing 3 resources, it deals 6 damage to any target, which might be more relevant than ever considering Gravy Bones is about to bring allies back in a big way. So dealing damage to allies might be really important. As far as I know, it also has the highest base arcane damage of any card printed so far. Verdance can cast this bad boy off a Millennium Tree for 9 arcane damage. It blocks 3, which is obviously very important considering it can't be pitched. But most important of all is the second way to use this card. At instant speed, you may discard it to destroy target card with Phantasm that is attacking you. Just imagine, you're playing Kano into Prism, a historically doomed matchup because you can't deal with the Heralds. They keep a 5-card hand and send Herald of Erudition without a care in the world, because what are you gonna do? Pop it? And then BAM! Discard Burn Bear. Destroy your Herald. Lose your action point. Hold this Wildfire for me. I've literally dreamed about having a card like this, and I've been giddy ever since they showed it to me. I was writing the script with a big dumb smile on my face. Anyways, I hope you guys are just as excited for the High Seas spoiler season as I am. Remember, pre-release events are starting soon, so make sure to check out your local game store and grab a spot. I'm Majin Bey, and I'll see you next time on World Tour Weekly.